great to be here at the Global Classroom. My name is Michael Woodside, and I'm an animation supervisor at Walt Disney Animation Studios. And today I'm so excited to teach all of you how to draw my favorite Disney character, Olaf. Let's get started. I'm going to be using two different pencils today. This is going to be my first pencil, just a blue drawing pencil that I can use for my scratchy underdrawing. And then I'll come back later with a black pencil to help finalize the lines. And I like doing it this way because this lighter pencil allows me to be a little bit more loose with my lines, and then once I've made all my decisions, then I can go over with the darker pencil. So to start, let's just warm up our hands. We're going to start drawing some circles on the outside of our page. And when I do the circles, I use my whole arm, and I'm also keeping it really light because we'll kind of make these drawings darker as we go on, but it's a great way to start with really light lines. And Olaf is made of a bunch of really fun round shapes, so it's great to practice with these circles out here on the outside. And I'll show you what I mean. When we go in with a darker pencil line, this helps us define. So if we just say this is where we want to keep it, we can do our cleanup line there, and then maybe another one here. And once we do this, you'll see all those blue lines kind of fade away to the background. And especially if you start adding shading to the drawing, then you don't really see any of this stuff. So let's just shade in this section here, just to show you how that looks. There you go. So let's go ahead and get started with Olaf. I'm going to start drawing him on this side of the sheet of paper. He's going to be looking in this direction, so his carrot's going to be going out here. So I want to leave some room for that. So let's go ahead and just start with our circle on this side. I'm going to draw mine a little darker than you probably will, just to make sure you can see it on the video, but you want to keep this light because we're going to be building in more detail as we go. So this is our circle for the head. Like I said, he's going to be looking in this direction, so the way that we can loosely, lightly indicate that is to do a little rounded line here. And that tells us that the center of his head is kind of facing this direction, so it pulls that way. And then the middle of his head, up and down, we're going to put just below the center of the circle. So if this is the middle, we're going to go about here and just do a straight kind of line. And this will help us know where to put Olaf's eyes when we get there. So let's go ahead and draw his muzzle. So the muzzle of Olaf is the front part of his upper lip, and it's going to be sticking out to the side here. So I'm just going to draw a rounded line coming off of where this middle horizontal line is. Just go out here. Kind of make this as big as you like. You can see how sloppy my lines are, that's fine. Animation drawings are usually really messy because drawing is problem solving, and it's never perfect the first time you draw. I know everyone wants it to be perfect, and eventually if you practice, you can get much better at doing a drawing that you're happy with earlier, but it takes a second. So let's go ahead and connect this back into the circle. I'm just going to do kind of a rounded line. We're going to keep it light because we're going to change where this connects, but helps us get it connected to the structure of his skull. And now we can give him his eyebrow. So coming out of this side, I'm just going to draw kind of like a backwards number 7. It connects to the top of the head here and the outside of the circle there. Okay, so now we can draw the bottom of his head, starting about the right here in this section. I'm just going to draw a rounded line that goes out here really lightly and then round it out again. This is going to be where his neck is, and then that connects to the back here. So the back of his head, I'm just going to start here on the top of the circle and kind of draw a line down and then back around. So this side and the back is more rounded than the front side here. Okay, so now we have a really rough version of Olaf's head. Let's go ahead and start building out some of the details. This is the fun part. So what we're going to do is take, we're going to start with the tooth, because that'll help us kind of make sure we've got the right guy here. So starting from inside the lip here, I'm going to draw what looks like a letter U, but it's more boxy. If the letter U is round like that, what we're looking for is something like this. So build that over here. And this is a great sheet of paper section where you can do some practice lines, right? If you want to practice the tooth before you draw it, this is a great way to do that. And to give the tooth some dimensionality, remember he's looking in this direction. I'm just going to, inside of where we drew that outside of the U, I'm just going to draw another little line here, kind of rounded, and that looks like the side of the tooth. So that helps us even more so see the dimensionality of his face. Okay. So we're going to open his mouth, and to do that, I'm just going to draw a letter U that starts inside here. That's going to be his bottom lip, and then it connects all the way back up here to the bottom of the circle. See right here where this top lip meets the bottom of the circle? That's a great way to know where to stop. Real loose and scratchy. I hope your drawing is loose. The more scratchy it is, the more like an animator drawing it feels like, because you don't want to be doing perfect lines yet. In fact, there's a whole department who works at Disney Animation called cleanup animation, and what they do is they take the final animation drawings and add the clean lines on top of it. So that's a different artist who's doing those lines. Animators like me are just doing the poses to help sell the emotions of the character. So now we're just going to draw the corner of the mouth. So going outside, we're going to cut him into the circle a little bit, like a little rounded line up like that, and it stops before it meets the middle line. And then from here, we're just going to do a little curvy U, upside down U, and a little cheek line. Look at that. Look at that happy guy. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put the eyes in place. So if we were to see Olaf from the front, both of his eyes would be the same size. They would be these ovals. But since we're turning him this direction, one eye on the left is going to be just smaller than the eye on the right, because the eye on the right is closer to us. So that's a good place to practice these two, just oval like that, and then a bigger oval. So starting here in the middle line, I'm just going to draw an oval going up here. So that's one eye. And then I'm keeping track of the distance between the side of the eye and the center line. And I want to try to keep it pretty similar on the other side, just to make sure that they feel like they're the same distance away from the center of his face. This is the bigger eye on this side. See how this one is bigger? Okay, so like I said, we're going to round off this section. I'm going to go ahead and start that now, just sort of soften the edges out a little bit. Once we darken it, you're never even going to see this part. It'll be our little secret. And now, from here, I'd like to draw his eyebrows. So his eyebrows are these little sticks, and the sticks stick out in front of his snow here. So since everything else is rounded, to make the sticks feel different, I'm just going to draw them more straight. So to draw his eyebrow, I'm going to draw a straight line over here, straight line down, and then a straight line back. And we'll just leave it like that for a second. And then from the outside, I'm just going to draw a straight line out to the side and then here. So I'll color it in with a blue just so you can see the shape now, but we'll color it in again with black later. And that looks like little stick eyebrows. And now we'll do that on the other eye. Straight, straight. Color that in for you. Okay, so we have the rounded eye here. He's got a little bit of a bump on the top of his head where the sticks are going to come out, so I'm just going to add a little bump right there. And Olaf has 3 sticks out of the top of his head. And the middle one is the longest, so we're going to start with that one so that we know how long it should be. So I'm just going to do kind of a curved line out here. And then up towards the top, there's another little stick point right there. So that's one stick. And now the second one we'll put out here. This one points out the other direction, so we're just going to round it out here. Another little stick point that comes off of it. And then this one is the short one. We're just going to have it go the other direction. So it's not as long as those. And then it has another little stick that goes up like that. So these are fun shapes. You can practice them and then get really good at them later. Okay, so I think to do the nose, I'm going to use a different pencil just so we can see it separately. So to build out the nose, I'm going to draw right about here a circle really lightly, and this is just going to be where the nose connects into his snout. And then coming out from there, I'm going to draw a straight line that connects to the bottom of the circle and just goes out past the upper lip, like that. And then another one that goes to the top of the circle here. So his carrot has this fun shape where it's actually a little thicker the closer you get to the face. So this is the thin part. I'm just going to build up the carrot here, go up away from that line that we drew, and then connect back into the circle. See how we're pulling away from this triangle? And that just gives it some fun shape. Again, Olaf is made of all these different little parts, pieces of snow and carrots, and they're all different shapes. So even if your carrot looks a little different, it probably still looks just like Olaf. When the first Frozen came out, I was a crowds animator on the film, and that meant that I got to animate the background characters in the scenes in Arendelle, some of the trolls. It was so much fun. And actually, for Frozen 2, I got to be an animation supervisor who got to supervise the animators who were coming on to animate the crowds. So that was a fun full circle journey. Really proud of the crowds in Frozen 2, and I think Olaf makes a lot of friends from the people in the town, so there's fun to revisit that world. So sort of getting ahead of his eyes here, I just like to show you this little trick that we do. Sometimes if you just darken the top part of the circle for the eyeball, it will feel like eyelashes. And Olaf doesn't really have really long flowing eyelashes, so we don't want to draw the lines that come off. But just darkening that part helps us see that he's got eyelashes up there. Cute. Okay, so now the one main part that we're missing is the eyeballs. So his eyeballs are just little ovals that happen inside. So I'm just going to build that out now. I'm going to put his a little, I think he's fun when he's a little cross-eyed, so I'm going to do that here. And we're going to leave a little space for a highlight. So I'm going to just color in a little circle there. And that'll be an area that we don't color in. So I'll show you what I mean. We're going to color it in black again, but cute. Okay, so let's go ahead and start finishing our drawing. So I have this black pencil, and we're going to just go outline the areas that we like. And I'm right-handed, so I like starting in the left part of the drawing so that I don't smudge it. So if you're left-handed, start on the left side and move over. That way you don't smudge the lines. But now we're just cleaning up the edges. Add these little rounded lines to help give the carrot some detail. There's a lot of people who think they can't draw, that they don't know how to do it, and no, very few people know how to draw instinctually. There's always something to be learned. Even professional artists feel like they have something to learn all the time. And so if you're even at all barely interested in drawing, you probably are capable of becoming a professional artist because you're interested in learning how. And I think that's the coolest thing about this art form, is that you're surrounded by people who want to get better and want to do a cool thing. in order to bring something nice out into the world and bring these characters to life. So if that sounds like something you want to do, you should. I always wanted to be a Disney animator when I was growing up, and it's crazy that I get to do that now, and it's so cool that I get to teach you how to draw Olaf. He is probably my favorite Disney character because I think he represents the best in us, the warmth. Just a nice guy, he's funny. So you see how when we color in everything except for those highlights, it starts to feel like he's got a little shine in his soul. Really nice guy. If you were a bad guy, if you were mean, we probably wouldn't leave that highlight in there. Start working our way down. A nice way about drawing this style too, where you draw it first in blue and then you draw it over again, is that you're sort of drawing it twice, and that teaches you how to sort of remember those shapes that you're drawing so that you can draw them again. Now, animation happens 24 frames per second. So when you see a cartoon, that means if it was drawn, that's 24 drawings every second, which is so many drawings. But that gives you an indication as to why some professional animators know how to draw these characters so well, is because they draw them so much. Think of how many seconds are in an hour. Oh, I forgot to do the sticks. Can't forget the sticks. So the sticks are kind of rough, so you don't have to do really straight lines. It's actually probably better if you do really curvy lines. So if you're nervous and you're shaking, you're going to do great on these sticks. Now, I hope you finish the drawing, because sometimes it can be stressful to do a drawing and you feel like it needs to be perfect and you want to give up halfway through because it doesn't look right. But you'll see that the more you draw, the more you just give yourself time to make the mistakes that you need in order to learn. Every time I make a mistake, I sort of log it away and think, oh, that's something I know for next time. So mistakes aren't bad, they're good things. They help you draw better. And I'm just going to color in his mouth, the blue here, just to help set it back in space. If you want a trick to, you can color dark back here, and that makes it shaded. Feels like it's even further away. And then last, I'll just color in his nose. When I color in too, I like to color in the same direction. So you see that I'm not switching the direction of the pencil. I try to keep it consistent so that everything feels like it's made out of the same material. For instance, it's a carrot. A couple lines, sort of little details. That is our Olaf. So the last thing you got to do, everyone has to do this, be sure to sign your drawing. I'm going to sign mine right here. Put your name, let everyone know that you're proud of it. And there we go. Well, I hope you enjoyed drawing Olaf as much as I did. I'd like to now hand it back over to Jeff at the Scarisbrick Hall School. Jeff?